Hi, this is Angelica from Angelica's Designs, and on today's video, I'll be making an anniversary or engagement type card. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'm going to freehand draw a heart, just a regular heart. You guys could die cut this or cut it out with like a machine, but I just decided to cut it out with my scissors. So after I finished cutting it out, I just took like a Sharpie or any kind of permanent marker and I just went over it with like a red one. And just in case if the glitter doesn't completely cover the heart, you'd see like red on the other side instead of like white. And you guys could use a red cardstock or pink cardstock, but I just decided to color it. And I also used a pink permanent marker on top of that red. Now I just covered the whole entire heart with adhesive. And you want to make sure you cover the whole entire heart with adhesive, not just parts of it. So here I've got a brush and I'm just going to put some red glitter starting from the top left corner. And I'm just going to put it on just gently with like the brush. And as you guys can see, I missed a little spot over there and the glitter wouldn't stick there because I didn't add enough adhesive. You guys could also use like a double-sided adhesive sheet or something like that, but I just decided to use an adhesive runner, and I'm just going to cover the whole entire thing, including that little spot. Made sure I didn't have any empty spaces. So now I'm just going to put more red glitter over that little spot. And the whole point of this embellishment is I'm going to make it go from a red gradient to more of like a pink on the outer right edge. So then I just put some release paper that you would get from like a sticker sheet, and I took a bone folder and I just rubbed it because that adhesive that I put on top to cover up that little gap, it was kind of sticking out. So I just wanted to cover it up a little bit more, and I just added some more red right there. So now I just dumped a little bit of pink, and this isn't actually just glitter, it's actually embossing powder, but I didn't really have any pink glitter, so I decided to use just pink embossing powder. And now you guys can see that this fan brush is really convenient in this kind of situation. So I just mixed in a little tiny bit of pink with that red and just put it on. And then I added some more red to fill up those empty spaces. So now I just put some more red, and this is just a scrap piece of paper, and I'm just going to sweep up some of that extra glitter that's all over my work surface or my scrap piece of paper there, and I just added some more pink in there, but this time I added a little bit more than I did the first time, so it'd be more of like a gradient, and it'd be a little bit more on the pink side than it was the first time. And once again, I missed another spot, so I'm covering it up with an adhesive runner. And then I just, on the right side of the heart, I just covered it with the pink, just without mixing it or anything, just with the pink. And as you guys can see, I added a little bit too much, so you guys can see how helpful that fan brush is in picking that embossing powder up and putting it back into the jar. You guys don't need to have this kind of brush, it's just convenient if you have one. And I'm just brushing on some more of that excess powder or embossing powder and glitter that I have there. And now I just took that same release paper and a bone folder and I'm just rubbing it across. That really helps the glitter and embossing powder to really stick to your embellishment. And so now that little rough spot there in the corner really got to me, so I tried picking it or rubbing it with a bone folder. And here I've got a Swiffer cloth. And as you guys can see, it was really hard for me to take the embossing powder off the release paper because I'm going to use it again with the paintbrush. So I just took a Swiffer cloth, and you guys can see how easily that picks up the glitter and embossing powder. So now I can just keep on reusing it. So now to really make sure that glitter stays put, I'm going to use just some regular school glue. You guys can use any kind of glue you want. I just happen to have school glue and a dry brush. And I'm just going to spread it all over that heart to make sure it's fully covered with that glue. And I tried kind of spreading it all in one direction so that I wouldn't get like some funny streaks. And as you guys can see, as I was brushing it, I kind of took the glitter out of that gap that I had up there in the left corner of the heart, or left arch of the heart. And now I just picked up some more red and I dropped it into that little gap and just kind of pressed it in there since I had glue on it already. And now I'm just going to rub it in with some more glue on top. And I'm just going to remove it because if it dries like that, it's just going to stick with the craft sheet or whatever you have. This is actually just a page protector. And here I just wanted some extra or some more glimmer or shimmer. So I just took some white fine glitter and I just tapped it on into my heart using a brush. And I just put a tiny bit of it. I didn't go overboard or anything. And you guys can see I used a heat gun to dry it. I know I'm impatient, so I kind of dried it from far away, but as you guys can see, most of it has dried, but some of it formed like a little skin. So I'm just taking a baby wipe and rubbing it off. And in hindsight, I wouldn't use a baby wipe because it just kind of leaves these little fibers stuck all over the place. I would probably just, try to take it off with like a brush or something like that. So now I'm just rubbing it because I went to dry the rest of it and I just dried it, but the glue kind of bubbled up, so I pressed it down with the bone folder, and here those little fibers were white and it kind of bugged me, so I just took a red permanent marker and I'm just taking a baby wipe, and even though it doesn't really affect the permanent marker, it just kind of helps it blend in and not stand out. So now I'm just embossing some dark gray cardstock with an embossing folder from Paper Crafts. And look at that beautiful lattice background. Now I just took a strip of just some craft colored cardstock, or a lighter craft cardstock, and I took some Versamark and I just rubbed it against the edge of it. And I'm going to do that on both sides. So now I took some sparkly clear embossing powder from Recollections, and I'm just going to put it on there, and it's going to stick to that Versamark, and it's going to create a nice edge on that cardstock piece. So now I heat set that, and now I'm going to adhere it to my embossed dark gray cardstock. And I just adhered it to the middle of the card, and now I'm going to trim off the excess. Now I have these congrats stickers from American Crafts, and I'm going to use one of them, but I'm going to hide one of the banner edges so it looks like the banner cut is only from one side. So I'm going to adhere it underneath the heart, the one side of the banner edge, underneath the heart. So now I'm just going to adhere the heart with some foam squares. So now I'm going to round the edges of my card with We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board, just because it's the only corner rounder I have. So now I'm just creating and scoring the card base, just a regular white card base. I'm just going to fold that. And now I'm just going to adhere my piece onto the card base. Make sure I'll have that all lined up. I rounded the corners and trimmed off some extra cardstock that was hanging off the side. Now I'm just going to stamp my back stamp that says Angelica's Designs using some black ink from, I think it's the Rustic collection or ink pad set from Cat's Eye. And there we go. Hope you enjoyed my card video. See you guys next time.